Hello again on this last evening of 2022, a quiet evening at home, really just sort of getting some peace and quiet and reflecting on the past year and the new year with some of the last pictures with that Christmas tree here. Today, for our own sort of pleasure, I've selected a really nice young Burgundy that I've been really keen to try. Recommended to me by my friend Hani. It's by Laurent Pataille, Sylvain's younger brother. We did a wine, a Marsannay by Sylvain exactly a year ago, basically December 30th, 2021. I was in California. It was really a very a nice wine, and apparently Laurent is even better. I mean, not necessarily that there's good and bad, but Laurent is the younger brother. He's really set out on his own after working with his brother for a while. He started setting out on his own 10, 12 years ago, renting some vineyards, buying a couple, working with his father on another. And so he has developed a tiny property in Marsannay, in a bit of a valley that's kind of more rocky, so well drained, different, not a lot of clay, so different soil than some of the other areas in Burgundy. Marsannay is at the northern end of the Beaune region, so we're talking here, we're almost in Dijon, as we discussed in the past. So it's a little bit cooler. It makes different kinds of wines, and it's a newly classified region. I mean, it didn't really exist as a separate region until about 35 years ago. There's no cru, there's no Grand Cru, Premier Cru. It's all Marsannay with a specific note, maybe for the vineyard or the the clos if you want. This is an Chezots, Marsannay Chezots 2018. 2018 was a very good year, like 19, but I think probably more generous, more fruit, more rain, and so maybe it has a different style to it. Anyway, Laurent, like his brother, prefers a whole cluster with a bit of crushing, but on the reds. So we're going to be having this here, and also it depends on the yield. They believe in the dense planting, so to kind of starve the vines a little bit, so you get a different kind of concentration, in the grapes. And he's very natural on the process, natural yeast, no added sulfur, very little added sulfur, rather neutral oak for the barrels, no filtering unless you're getting down to the bottom of the barrel. So just basically good stuff. And so here we are, and let's see what we have here on the color. It's very typical, like his brother's wine, sort of light burgundy color, no evolution around the rim or anything like that. Very clear, even though it's not filtered, but again, it's a young wine, so it hasn't developed sediments yet necessarily. And so it's actually 14.5% alcohol, so it is an alcoholic wine. On the nose, it's got that typical Marsannay mix of floral and fruit, the sort of the flower petals on one hand, and the sort of orange peel, typical of Pinot, but in very subtle way on the other hand. Very, very nice, very harmonious combination. It comes together with the fruit and the sugar, the alcohol. It's just sort of kind of aromatically incredibly enticing without really hitting you over the head. In the palate, there's a little bit more umami, a little bit more savory that doesn't come on the nose. It's there, and it combines really beautifully with the flowers and the fruit, and you get this sort of mix of and the fruit. You get a little bit of that raspberry tartness. It's a little bit more on the tartness, not very sweet, let's say. So it's a bit tart, a bit savory, a bit floral. Amazing, combination that stays with you for a while. It has a little bit of tannins, as to be expected, but not much. And on the finish, there is a persistent finish, but the finish is primarily really on the fruit side. It's a fruity, it's fruit finish and not tannin or astringency. It's just really for a wine that's not really necessarily a cru or anything like that. It's very well made. It's got layers. It tells you exactly that you're in Burgundy here, in a region that has this kind of sort of concentration and this kind of quality. It's much more approachable than his older brother's 2019 Marsannay that we had a year ago. Maybe it was the age, maybe it's just the vintage itself, maybe it's the method, but I'm just delighted that I've had these, that was able to get these wines. They're very hard to find in the US, and that we are sharing this one together. So Laurent Pataille, great winemaker, promising future, great wines, hopefully a great year coming. Cheers, everyone, and see you soon.